all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the South. More specifically, we are in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and last night drove from Oklahoma City, made it here to Fort Smith, Arkansas. We were kind of making our way back home for maybe like one day. I think we maybe get to spend at home because I'm trying to be at Mothman Festival this Saturday. Of course, Mothman Festival to me is one of the biggest events of the year, kind of the Super Bowl of cryptids. There's a lot of cryptid festivals, a lot of really great cryptid festivals around the country, and Mothman Festival to me is the pinnacle of all that. Not only a celebration of Mothman, a celebration of cryptids, and just a celebration of everything that makes this country amazing. But yeah, I drove here to Fort Smith, got a hotel last night, got about 11-12 hours to drive today, so I'm probably gonna get home very late, way past midnight. But I still wanted to try to see a few things on the way home. Just a reminder, those of you watching the channel, we still do have the Carpetbagger pressed penny. If you're interested in that, it is 2024, the year of the pressed penny. We do have the Carpetbagger pressed penny with my face on it currently in the Etsy shop below. Got a lot of fun stickers, new stickers, including the popular Cameo sticker there. Just wanted to let you guys know, still available in the Etsy shop. Of course, no obligation to do anything but watch, but you know, if you're interested, check below if you're interested in any of those things. Some other things down there as well. But let's start today's journey. But before we leave Fort Smith, Arkansas, we are going to be invoking the EM rule. Always like to stop and check out the local museums whenever I'm in a particular area. And here we have the United States Marshals Museum. This is a relatively new museum. It's only been here for about a year. It's got a really cool, interesting building here. But yeah, celebrating the accomplishments of the U.S. Marshals, the federal law enforcement agency. The building here is pretty amazing from the inside as well. This huge atrium area. They got a little coffee shop over there, and then you get a beautiful view of the Arkansas River from the windows here. We were just alongside the Arkansas River not too long ago when we were in Wichita, Kansas. But a beautiful view and a beautiful building here. So they said the main exhibit, you enter here through this giant badge. Of course, here's the million-dollar question. What is a U.S. Marshal? Do you picture lawmen that help tame the Wild West? Or do you think of modern marshals you see in the news and movies, capturing fugitives, witness security? So yeah, I don't know. I think of Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, being chasing down Harrison Ford. That's just what immediately comes to mind. But we're gonna learn more about U.S. Marshals. To be a marshal. As we enter here, we see this building with the Constitution scrolled onto the side. Now, essentially, what I've put together is a U.S. Marshal, basically the law enforcement branch of the U.S. judicial system. So all the federal courts and whatnot use the U.S. Marshals to basically as their physical enforcement. Here are the badges of the U.S. Marshals. It says until 1940 there wasn't a standard badge. So these are all badges that were used beginning in 1870. There seems to be an issue, I don't know, with using multiple badges. Just thinking off the top of my head, it seems like it'd be easier to have a fake badge if there's not a standardized system. But yeah, these definitely bring back, like, thoughts of the Wild West, where they would have these badges, where they would be working on behalf of the U.S. government out in the Wild West towns. Here are several oaths of office. It says these are taken by famous frontier marshals, Bill Tiggleman, Heck Thomas, and Chris Madsen. I love the name Heck Thomas. That's pretty amazing. It says that they were known as the Three Guardsmen. And here's the timeline of the U.S. Marshals, starting back in 1789. So pretty much have been part of the United States since the beginning. It says George Washington appointed the first 13 U.S. Marshals. It takes you through the good, the bad, and the ugly here on the timeline. The first federal execution of this man, Thomas Bird. We've got the Whiskey Rebellion, and this one's not so great. The Fugitive Slave Act, where the U.S. Marshals actually assisted in returning escaped slaves to their owner. That's probably one they're not too proud of these days. But they're being honest. They're given the whole history, warts and all. This counterfeit money here. I see these molds here used for making counterfeit coins. It says before the end of the Civil War, the U.S. Marshals were responsible for tracking down counterfeiters, and then they created the Secret Service, which this is one of the strangest things when you hear it. But the Secret Service was originally created basically to hunt down counterfeiters. I don't know, what point they basically turned into the president's personal security team, but interesting how things change over time. Some local history here. Talks about the opening of the Parker Court in Fort Smith, Arkansas. We have this man, Judge Isaac Parker. It says on his first day in office, he hung 8 men. So a real hanging judge there. And 27 years after the Fugitive Slave Act, they appoint their first black U.S. Marshal, Mr. Frederick Douglass. Quite an impressive human being. And the first female U.S. Marshal, Phoebe Cousins, appointed in 1884. These shackles here that would have been used by the U.S. Marshals in hunting down fugitives. Another not so great time, the Prohibition, where the U.S. Marshals actually had to enforce the Prohibition laws. Look at them dumping all that delicious whiskey into the sewer. It's a soap gun there. Talks about how the U.S. Marshals had to work to secure prisons. So this gun here, made out of soap by an inmate, probably as a way to try to escape the prison, and then hidden in this hollowed out Bible. Classic prison escape tactics. Yeah, the Fugitive Slave Act, not a proud moment, but they are definitely on the right side of history here with helping to enforce civil rights laws. Here we see Marshall escorting a black child to a previously all-white school. The Witness Security Program. U.S. Marshal, I guess, in charge of protecting federal witnesses. And it says in 1974 that the U.S. Marshal badge was often called the Patty Hearst badge because she was always accompanied by a federal marshal when she was going through her trial. We move into modern times here on our timeline, and this little nook here full of loot. These are seized assets. There's a gun back there, and all these precious pieces of jewelry seized in a criminal investigation. It's pretty amazing. Both these sets of handcuffs were placed on Manuel Noriega. That says this bottom half, that has no chain on it, says that while he was in mid-flight, they ordered that he change into his military uniform, but unfortunately there was no handcuff key, so they had to cut off the chains to allow him to change into his military uniform. I guess then these were placed on him after that. Oh, I remember this. So the U.S. Marshals seized Elian Gonzalez. That was a big story at the time. The 6-year-old Elian Gonzalez, where there was kind of a custody battle between the U.S. and Cuba. Talks about the first seized bitcoins. Says they actually seized bitcoins in a raid on Silk Road, but then actually had to auction off the bitcoin that sold for $18 million. Talks about protecting the COVID vaccines. And then it says, here, a quote from U.S. Marshal, "You can run, but you're just going to jail tired." Oh, this is pretty amazing. Right here we have a campfire where the U.S. Marshals are telling stories, but we have U.S. Marshals from every point in history. Yeah, the four marshals, all from different eras, just swapping yarns around the fire. So we have the early 1700s era U.S. Marshal here. There is the Wild West U.S. Marshal, and this is the Prohibition era Marshal here with his hard hat. And then we have our modern U.S. Marshal from today there, wearing her bulletproof vest.
Did you ever hear of a guy named Joe Exotic? He owned and operated a small zoo of wild animals in Winter,
Joe Exotic.
Oh, this one sounds interesting.
He made headlines across the globe because he didn't treat his assets so well. Neither did the folks who took up the place after him. In 2021, Marshals executed a warrant on the exotic animal park for failure to comply with court orders, directing them to improve conditions for their big cats. After the Marshals secured the property, they were responsible for taking almost 70 abused and severely neglected lions, tigers, and other big cats off the premises and transporting them to responsible animal preserves where they got the care that they needed.
And here we have the section on the frontier marshals, kind of the Wild West Marshal that we hear about in all the old Wild West stories. Now, I am a big fan of all different types of museums, but I kind of tend to like the classic old school museum. Don't like when they try to insert too much technology, but this here is actually really, really impressive. So you have this book here that talks about the different marshals. This is the first marshal of Connecticut. Now you turn the page here, and then it changes, the projection changes, and then we have on the wall the portrait of the said marshal lights up. So this is a real book, like a paper book here, with the words are there, but the images are projected. See, you can see him moving like he's in a Harry Potter. He's in a Harry Potter painting. Yeah, you just turn the pages of this actual book, and there we go. The first Marshal of New Jersey there appears, and you see like things pop up. His portrait lights up on the wall. So yeah, this is just really cool how they've done this. And you can see him blinking there, nodding. Let's see, first Marshal of Pennsylvania. Oh, was this gentleman over here, Mr. Clement Biddle. See the ship's wheel turning. I'm really impressed by this. I've not seen this effect used in a museum before. Oh, Delaware. Let's see. Alan McLean. And where is he at? There he is. Old Alan McLean. It's a miniature portrait of Robert Forsyth. It's the first marshal killed in the line of duty, and this is the only image of him that exists. The only way that we know what he looks like. This ledger down here is the expenses by U.S. Marshals in Texas from 1853 to 1859. It's a multimedia show here about the tragedy at Going Snake. Talked about how a murder trial that happened on Cherokee lands was tried in the tribal courts, but the U.S. Marshals actually showed up claiming that they had jurisdiction, which led to a shootout between the Marshals and the Cherokee people. There's a gun actually used in the shootout. Get head inside the U.S. Marshals office here. You can see the guns used by the old U.S. Marshals. My only crime was caring too much.
That's a story for another day.
Here's the Morse code alphabet. We can practice our Morse code. So like A is dot dash, so one tap, then you gotta hold it down a little more. So yeah, if you're like sending a message, you'd be like, today was a nice weather, no rain. I woke up about 8 a.m. I went out looking for the fugitive. I looked for about 3 or 4 hours, could not find him. But then I spotted him hiding in a bush. And then I pulled out my gun. I pointed my gun at him. I pulled the trigger. The bullet missed. So I reloaded my gun. Then I shot the fugitive in the face. Then I put handcuffs on him and took him back to the jail. Turns out it was the wrong guy. So then I went back out and started looking for the right guy. See, this would be very hard to communicate this with this alphabet. It's a super elaborate saddle here, really fancy saddle. And you notice the W there. W stands for Wayne, as in John Wayne. This is a saddle rode by John Wayne. He would ride this in parades. I guess it is here in the Marshall Museum because he portrayed federal marshals, U.S. Marshals, in a lot of his Wild West cowboy movies. It's time to head into the saloon, see if we can find some of those outlaws that we are looking for. Oh yeah, we got the bar here. There's a piano. If you listen carefully, you can hear the piano music coming from the piano. And there's the bartender.
The U.S. Marshals was actually founded in 1789. There's a whole lot of history, friend. And some of it you wouldn't believe.
It does look like there's a card game going on in here. You place hand here to join the game.
It worked out for the best. Then a marshal didn't.
Waiting for other players. I'm here by myself. Can I play alone? Oh wait, okay. How to play. So it deals us the cards and then asks us trivia questions. We have to guess the correct marshal. First known encounter with the marshal was a horse thief. So we actually bet the chips on, was that the OK Corral gunfight with Doc Holliday? Oh, that's Wyatt Earp. This is Wyatt Earp. We're gonna put all the chips there on Wyatt Earp. Yeah, I'm sticking with Wyatt Earp there. I think I'm right here. Put all my chips on Wyatt Earp, and it is, yes, it is Wyatt Earp. I'm good at cards. It's the changing nation section. Looks like there's different exhibits in these different rooms. There is a Marshals Challenge. We head into a courtroom here. Guess we take our seat here in court, What do you want to focus on first? Let's share intelligence.
Meeting with the judge and sharing our intelligence with them. So that they can make informed decisions.
So we're kind of explaining how the marshals work in conjunction with the federal judges. These are items worn or carried by deputies who died in the line of duty. That's Bud Carlson's eyeglasses and necktie. He was attacked by a prisoner being transported and paralyzed by the attacks, has died from the injuries. Several years later, his firearms were carried by deputies that were killed in the line of duty. And this hard hat worn by a marshal that was killed during a riot. This room is about maintaining order. See up there, many chaotic events occurring. Talks here about terrorist attacks, natural disasters like Katrina, and riots here with the storefront here with the smashed window. It's about Native American protests. Here it talks about, this is the last major clash between U.S. Marshals and Native Americans occurred at Wounded Knee in 1973. So this is a drumhead used in the protest. This is the Trail of Broken Treaties. And Native Americans famously took over Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay. And it says that this here is their declaration of return of Indian land. So it says their grievances and what they were asking for placed here on a buffalo hide. Talks here about when U.S. Marshals get involved in strikes. Talking about the Pullman train strike. And over here talks about squatters and how the U.S. Marshals often be called upon to remove squatters from federal land. So U.S. Marshal helmet and baton says this was used at a anti-military protest at the Pentagon. Oh yeah, one of the most horrific attacks, the Oklahoma City bombing here. It has some of the items used by U.S. Marshals during the recovery of the bombing. The respirator there, this is the helmet worn by a U.S. Marshal, and this coffee can here was used to determine which news organizations were allowed in the press briefings. Apparently there were so many there and they had limited rooms, so they put all their business cards in this coffee can and drew which reporters would be allowed in. Here are pieces of the Mura Federal Building recovered after the bombing. Just truly one of the most just evil and horrific acts done by internal terrorists. Oh wow, they have an exhibit here on Ruby Ridge, a very controversial standoff between U.S. Marshals and white supremacists. There's actual rifle and binoculars used during the Ruby Ridge incident. Yikes. It's the prohibition section over here. Man, that must just, what a chaotic thing to have had to deal with. This room talks about how the U.S. Marshals were involved in the civil rights movement. We've got riot gear and a tear gas launcher from the riot at Ole Miss University. Here is a protest note on a roll of toilet paper. It explains here that generally you can mail anything you'd like through the mail as long as it is properly addressed and stamped. And it says a protester sent this roll of toilet paper with a political message on it to a federal judge. Into the modern Marshals section. For here you can see if you have what it takes to be a U.S. Marshal. Let's see if I have what it takes. Select your control mode. Foot control or button control. Let's go with foot control. Tap the line at your eye level.
To carry our badge, Deputy U.S. Marshals must think as fast as they can run. Training simulations like this help Marshals at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center to prepare for situations where their life is on the line.
A jog in place to move through the city. Uh-oh. Okay, so we have to run through a city. I am ready to train.
Target confirmed. Move into position. Go.
Okay. All right. All right. Very slowly. Okay, I guess I gotta pick up the pace here. Turns out I don't have what it takes. The criminal could apparently jog faster than me. The U.S. Marshal Task Force van here. Let's see what they got back here. Oh, they got all their equipment they need. Their boots, their helmets, all the stuff they need for hunting down federal criminals. Oh yeah, they got the riot shields there. And this may be the most amazing thing here. They set up a scheme, the U.S. Marshals set up a scheme to catch wanted fugitives. And they invited them to a party where they would be given away, they'd be giving them free football tickets. So they told them, you show up to this party, you will get free football tickets. They were, obviously they weren't telling them that they were Marshals. This was they said they were from the Flagship International Sports Television. So, oh yeah, there's one of the invitations there. You were invited to attend a brunch, 9:30 a.m. at the Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. This invitation entitles you to 2 complimentary tickets at the brunch for the Redskins versus the Bengals. And it says that there was some snarkiness mixed in here. It says that the invitation came from Michael Detnaw, whose last name is Wanted, spelled backwards. It said when the fugitives called the phone number to confirm their attendance, the whole music was "I fought the law, and the law won." Now, most amazingly of all, so all the people at the party, the football party, were federal agents, and they were dressed as NFL cheerleaders, and there was a federal agent dressed as the San Diego Chicken. It says this is the chicken suit head from Operation Flagship. That is amazing. Imagine being arrested by a giant chicken. It says here that the U.S. Marshals do some work overseas. Said they assisted in setting up Iraqi police forces in Iraq, and this was a gift to the U.S. Marshals from the Iraqis. Now, any good law enforcement museum worth its salt has to have a shank collection. These are all fabricated weapons that were found in a federal prison in Tennessee in the 1980s. I wonder if that was Brushy Mountain. But yeah, you see all the homemade weapons here, the different sharpened implements. Got like that's like a lid of a tin can there. strapped onto a toothpaste handle. All sorts of different things to stab and bludgeon people with. I don't know what's in that shampoo bottle. Is that just full of drugs? And over here, all these items were confiscated at a federal courthouse. So people going through security had these items on them. Whether or not they had ill intentions or they were just really dumb is unclear. Yeah, people trying to take firearms into a federal courthouse. And there's actually right there is actually a set of nunchucks. Someone came into a federal courthouse with nunchucks on their person. And it talks about the final frontiers here. These are federal marshals that have been to the Arctic and Antarctica. And then over here we have U.S. Marshals in space. There is a U.S. Marshal that actually accompanied astronauts on a real visit to space. And a wall of movie posters that portray federal marshals. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of at first, was The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals there. But a lot of good movies up here. You got True Grit. That's the one with Jeff Bridges. Deadwood. I still need to watch Deadwood. I've been putting this off for it seems like decades now. I need to watch Deadwood. Oh, Charlie's Angels. I guess they are federal agents. I guess I never realized that. And The Watchmen on HBO. So that was a great series. I love The Watchmen. I love the original movie and the TV show as well. Never read the comic. As we cross back here through the atrium, they have the Hall of Honor over here. So here they have a wall with the names of all the federal marshals that lost their lives in the line of duty. They do have a piece of steel here from the World Trade Center. It says, feel free to touch a piece of history here. And yeah, still very haunting to this day. And as we enter the gift shop here, we have the penny pincher. Of course, it is 2024, the year of the pressed penny, here on the Carpetbagger channel. And they have a wonderful set of pressed pennies. We've got the marshal on his horse, as well as they have 3 different styles of marshal badges here. Yeah, let's get us some U.S. Marshal pennies. All right, we got penny, quarter. And there we go, got the horse in all 3 badge styles. The t-shirt there says justice, integrity, and service. Also got this little case here with all these different styles of badge. And, you know, flask if you need a little something to help you along the way while marshaling. Yeah, a wide variety of the shirts here. It says you can run, but you can't hide. There's the keychain right there. And this is a hiking stick medallion. I know you like place these along your hiking stick if you hiked your way out here to the U.S. Marshal Museum. And yeah, some gift shops still sell these these tourist spoons. I remember a friend of mine growing up, his mom had a collection of spoons from all the different places they'd been. Maybe I should start collecting the spoons. What do you guys think? Should 2025 be the year of the collectible spoon? Leave a comment in the comments section. You can get a bandana for your dog and your own U.S. Marshal badge to wear. Let all your friends know that you are the law in these parts. So yeah, very, very well done. Brand spanking new museum here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Thought it was just really, really well put together. Now, just a short distance from the U.S. Marshal Museum here in Fort Smith, we have this very small amusement park here. It looks like it may be abandoned, but they have the big Ferris wheel there, a mural there, the Native American trying to shoot the bow, but instead of an arrow, it is a paintbrush. And here we have Spud's Nickel and Dime Diner, and we have the little big boy up there wearing shades. Huh. This is interesting. It says go somewhere without ever leaving town. See a very large rooster over here by the fence. And yeah, it does not look like this is operational. It's a little bit overgrown. In addition to the Ferris wheel, you can see there is a carousel back there as well. Looks like maybe a few places to eat in here, but looks like it might have been a fun little place at one point. At least this would be the main entrance. It says, welcome to McCoy Park at West End. And again, looks like it has seen some better times. Don't know the history of this place. Although they do have a code enforcement violation here. It says they need to clean up their fence line. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a driver there in the bus. That startled me a bit. I thought there was actually someone sitting in there. Yeah, if anyone out there has any information on this little amusement park, leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear more about it. We've stopped off here in Alma, Arkansas, here at Popeye's Garden. You can see standing in the fountain is the man himself. Yes, it is Popeye the Sailor Man. Now, if you've been following my channel, this is not the only town that has a statue of Popeye the Sailor Man. When I was doing my Mississippi River road trip, we saw statues of Popeye in Chester, Illinois, which is the home of Elsie Segar, the creator of Popeye. And this town, Alma, Arkansas, does not have any connection to the character necessarily. What their connection is that they consider themselves to be the spinach capital of the world. Of course, Popeye associated with spinach because spinach is what gives him his superpowers, his muscles. We can see there him holding his can of spinach aloft here in the spinach capital of the world. You can see the top is kind of a different color than the bottom. I don't know if the water from the fountain is giving him kind of some patina pants there. And right across the street from Popeye Garden, we have the Alma Police Station. And here in front of the police station, we have a memorial to a fallen police officer, Henry D. Humphrey. And it does not actually mention this on this marker. But one interesting thing about the death of Henry Humphrey, June 26, 1933, is he was actually murdered by Bonnie and Clyde. And that's one thing that is interesting. You know, Bonnie and Clyde have this very romantic, people have a very romantic view of what Bonnie and Clyde did, but they actually killed quite a few police officers. It was pretty horrible if you actually read the history on it. And poor Henry Humphrey was actually just doing his rounds as a police officer when the gang, Bonnie and Clyde and their gang, jumped him and then tied him to a pole while they robbed the bank. And then robbed the bank, and then actually the very next day he came across the gang again. They got into a shootout and Henry lost his life. You know, Bonnie and Clyde left a trail of dead police officers in their wake. Very interesting when you think about just, how often they are glamorized. There actually is down at the other end of the garden there. They do have a plaque that does explain Henry Humphrey was killed by, I guess it was Buck Barrow, the brother of Clyde Barrow, who shot him, part of the gang there. We've stopped off in Conway, Arkansas. We're here at the Conway High School. And here in front of the high school is their mascot. You see, they are the Conway Wampus Cats. Yes, their mascot is a cryptid, the Wampus Cat. You can see the mountain lion-like creature. But if you notice, there is some slight differences between that and a normal mountain lion or mountain cat. It actually has 6 legs. I guess what they say is it's got 4 legs for running and 2 legs for fighting. But yeah, this is a legendary cryptid from the area. They say that the legend actually goes back to the indigenous people, to the Native Americans, and that the Wampus Cat lore actually can tie into the kind of the legends of people turning into animals, the skin walker legends, and there's a tale that a Native American woman did not trust her husband when he went hunting, so she dressed as a mountain lion, wore a mountain lion skin to spy on him while he was off hunting with his friends. And a witch doctor saw her, and to curse her for not trusting her husband, she transformed her into the Wampus Cat. And it is said that the Wampus Cat, that if you lay eyes on the Wampus Cat itself, you will lose your mind. You will go insane just by looking upon the vicious Wampus Cat. So it can run incredibly fast. I guess it can go down on all 6 legs at one point. If it wants to go extra fast, can go down on all 6 legs and chase after you. But it can also quickly slash your face off with its front legs. That is I truly love when high schools and other schools, they use the local legends, the local cryptids for their mascots. Very, very unique mascot here at the Conway High School. We made it. I have successfully made it back to my home. It is 6 a.m. Been driving all night long. Made a few little stops. I did stop at Buc-ee's. I did get the Halloween pumpkin Buc-ee for Jen, who's probably inside sleeping right now. The beaver tail there. Jen was hoping they made the Buc-ee ghost. You can see he's got the Buc-ee ghost on his shirt. Jen was hoping that they would make the plushy ghost Buc-ee, but he's just holding a pumpkin this year. Last year they had Dracula Buc-ee. But thank you guys so much for following along on this State Fair rampage. We've been all over the country. Went to the Kansas State Fair. Went over a little detour to Colorado for Casa Bonita. Down to the New Mexico State Fair. Then on to the Oklahoma State Fair. And now I've come home for a brief, very, very brief rest, because Saturday we got to be at Mothman Festival. Not a state fair, but I rank Mothman up there with the best of festivals. After we go to Mothman, got some other plans, some other state fair related plans. We're going to be heading up to the Big E. Big E is a multi-state fair covering all the New England states. Also, the Virginia State Fair will be starting soon as well. So we'll be headed up north to take care of that. And I hope that you guys will come along with me for that. I do appreciate you guys coming along with me for this, for these state fair journeys and these other adventures. Today, venturing through Arkansas and beyond. If you're new to the channel, I travel around the country. I film roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun random stuff. If you'd like to help out the channel, there's always Patreon, $3 or more. We'll get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Down in the Etsy shop, we're selling pressed pennies with my face on them. For 2024, the year of the pressed penny. Also enamel pins and stickers. And still doing messages on Cameo. If you'd like to send a message, personalized message from me to you, to a friend, to a family member, check all that out. All that information is in the description of this video. And all those things help keep this train on the track. They help keep this boat in the water. And most importantly, they help keep this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.